All right, how's everybody doing? I'm going live. Actually, this is for my Mad Hermit Tarot page, so if you're wondering why you're seeing this on my regular Facebook page, it's because I don't have enough followers yet. I'm only at 50, and I guess you need that or like 6 months so they don't trust you. So I'm using this medium. So if you're not into tarot and astrology and all that stuff, then you could definitely just go somewhere else, if you're not into this. But if not, you want to check it out. Basically, I'm doing all signs. So all 12 signs I'm going to do for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So if you're not like a YouTube pro that checks out videos on there, based on your astrological sign, that's how it works. So I'm going to start with Aries, and if you have that for Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, it would most likely pertain to you. But if anything throughout this reading kind of resonates with you, then it's meant for you. Basically, Spirit provides messages when you're meant to see it through any means necessary, I guess. So I've got a bunch of decks laid out here, some of my favorites, and I'm just about done shuffling with those. So basically on my page, if you signed up for that, if you haven't yet, definitely message me for a reading. So this is my general reading style. So if you like that, give me a thumbs up and follow the page for different events. I've got one coming. Actually, I've got a few things coming up. So next weekend, I have got possible private party on Friday, and then Saturday, I'm doing this awesome event at the Danbury Ice Rink. I guess it's like the Axe. I think it's called the Axe Lounge, which is within the Danbury Ice Rink, where the minor league team plays, and there'll be a bunch of readers. Dana Salvador, my friend, setting that up. She actually had the idea for this. She was like, why don't you do a live reading? I never did that before. So it's my first one. And there'll be more to come too. So if there's certain signs that you like and you want to see that, I can post it on the page. And of course you get that free reading. All right, so let's start with my OG deck. So I've been doing this for over 20 years. And this is the first deck that I started on. And I'm just going to be using tarot too. I'm not using any oracles or anything like that. Let's get through 12 signs. So, all right, so this is how we start. And I'll probably add like little things that I talk about during readings and stuff. It's like a whole experience. Let's see. Okay. Angels, ancestors, guides, dimensional beings. This reading is for the collective. Only the best for the collective. Everybody involved. Thanks so much. We're going to do 5 cards: past, present, future, advice, and outcome. And we'll clarify it too. Let's just go. I normally do long readings, so I'm going to try to keep it short so I can get through the signs, and I'll keep mentioning where I am just in case you're tuning in later. All right, so let's start with Aries. What's going on in your life, Aries? This could be for money, it could be for career, it could be for anything. It's a general vibe. If you want a particular, then contact me through the Mad Hermit Tarot page, and I will get you a reading. All right, so what's in the recent past for Aries Spirit? No reversalist, divine inspired. Thank you so much. So Aries, and we got the new year starting. You get your birthday coming up, or already happened to have a birthday. All right, so what's in the recent past for you? 8 of Swords. Okay. I'll explain as I go forward. I just want to get more of a message first. But it's definitely someone who's analysis paralysis, locked in their head. Not knowing when to stop or start. And this could be because Saturn has entered your sign. Mercifully, it left Pisces, which is my sign. It feels a lot better, so I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through that. But it's only like 2 years. So what it does is it provides restriction. So with a Aries sign, you want to charge into things. But now with the swords here, which is the other side of Saturn, is basically making you think about it. Should I do this? Should I do that? It's kind of like analysis paralysis. And that's where you are with the 8 of Swords right now, or in the recent past. Don't forget what you went through a couple of years ago with your North Node going in your sign. You had to charge forward and kind of rely on yourself. Same vibes. All right, presently, what's happening with Aries? Okay, so whatever you're going for, that basically is in your passion. So you've got the 8 of Swords, which was the first card, into the 6 of Wands. So that means like presently, the vibe that you have around you is victory. It's like fresh victory. So if you're passionate about something, it shines through in what you do. So make sure you're not faking it. Make sure that you're going into situations and activities that you feel really good about, and that you basically want to explore. Not you're just doing your duty. Let me make sure you see the sounds here. Okay, cool. I can see people watching too. This is all new to me, so it's fun. All right, so Aries, quick recap. We got your mind being restricted, but you're charging forward anyways for victory. All right, what's in the near future, Spirit? What's in the near future for Aries? Queen of Cups. All right, so as you charge confidently going forward, then you'll be met with love. And that could be inner love too. Once you're doing what you want to passionately, you'll find inside of yourself, you'll start generating feelings of love, and not confusion, which could have been the past where you're kind of doing things where you had to do them, and you're kind of binding yourself in that way. So if you kind of like leave those things that you're not passionate about behind, you don't focus in on them, or you don't give them a lot of emotion, and you actually save enough time and energy for things that you really like. So be efficient with your energy is basically what it's saying. It's saying that, only give energy to those things that deserve it in your life. And, those friends that you haven't talked to in a while and stuff, and you feel obligated to talk to, don't anymore, basically. Or any of those things. I mean, I'm not saying lose all your friends, but what I'm saying is don't give energy to things that are just like the same old thing. Don't worry about it. If it's, someone that you're just not engaged with right now, give it the energy to where it deserves. It's hard for some people, and it becomes baggage. All right, what's the advice for Aries? Okay, so choose, and this is the Lovers. So basically what's happening right here is that your soul is setting up a situation where you're going to have to choose over what you feel obligated versus what you really want to do. So, for the rest of April going through, I say my readings are like 2 to 4 weeks, but, if you're really in tune with your energy, you'll know it changes and stuff. So, general rule for me is around 2 weeks. So within the first half of April, you're going to have to choose between what you really love versus what you just need to do. So choose to give your energy to those things if you have to keep the lights on, you have to go to work, I get it. But at the same time, don't give extra energy to that if you're not passionate about it. Save it for when you get home. Get your job done and live your life. Work-life balance is another thing that comes to my head. So I read the cards and I also channel through them. So if I'm saying certain phrases to you, then write those down or whatever you need to do, or if it's just entertainment, that's cool too. All right, what's the outcome for Aries? All right. Ooh. So after you make that choice between what you want, the reason why I was like, because there's a tower here too. But that's not until after. So what happens is that with the Justice card here in the outcome, then when you choose what you love, hopefully you'll choose that, you'll get your karma, which is basically that positive vibe going forward that's going to be very successful. What that's going to do, though, it's going to break open. It's kind of going to be like a jailbreak in your life, and you have to make different choices, because then you'll kind of get a taste for what you like and what you're doing, and then you'll do it more and more. For instance, before I even started this video and stuff, I'm like, I haven't done this before, and it was kind of having to psych yourself up for it and stuff, but this is what I want to do, so I'm doing it. So it's the same kind of thing in your life, Just because you're nervous doesn't have to turn that energy into anxiety. You can actually just have it be nervous excitement and actually be excited for something. As we get older, when we were kids and we'd kind of stay up late and get excited for the next thing, that feeling as we get older is nervous energy, because you're like, oh my God, something's going to be different. So you have to bring back that childlike kind of view to that. So saying to you, Aries, for the first 2 weeks of the April, is bring back that childlike wonder and also that passion for what you're doing. You'll find that you'll really love that, and it's going to basically lead you to doing different things that are more exciting to you. All right, so I think that's good with that. Let me just clarify, because if I keep going, these readings are going to last forever because I just keep talking. But I think that's a good message for Aries for the first half of April. It's basically do what you love, and you'll get your good karma by doing that. But if you kind of pretend that you like something or whatnot, it's not going to work out as well. All right, so what's after Aries? We got Taurus. All right, so let's go to the next one. So I guess I may clarify and I may not. I'm kind of making it up as I go along here. If the message is there, it's there. Something else to say. All right, so now that was the traditional Rider-Waite. Now I'm going to my Robin Wood deck here, which has got kind of a Robin Hood kind of theme to it in a way. It's not really Robin Hood, it's more it's people from those times. But it's green on the outside, so it's got the green chakra going. So if you're seeing green, especially springtime, Venus is actually just going into your sign, so you're going to be feeling attractive soon. Not that you don't already, but you'll start feeling more sociable. So when Venus goes into your sign like that, treat yourself in good ways, and add different things to your wardrobe, and also be financially. Tauruses are great for financial management, but also be particular about that. Do it out of respect for yourself. All right, so I'm not sure why I'm saying that, but here we go. All right, so Taurus, for the first half of April, what's going on with you? It's in your recent past, Taurus. And this could be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus, but Venus is more focusing on your love life. The Moon, too, is more of your emotional. So if you don't know how that goes, is that basically the Sun is kind of your overall, your overall frequency. Your Moon is more of your emotional kind of side to your frequency. The Rising is kind of what you're presenting in the real world. So it's kind of like your avatar inside of this big matrix. So for myself, I'm Pisces overall, which kind of exhibits a lot of those qualities. That's always in the background, but I have a Leo rising, so I want to get in front of a camera or something like that. Not really, but I do. But and then your Venus, I said, was love. So look. I like to tend to go with my Sun and my Rising, and then if there's some emotional drama, then I'll go to Venus if I have to. But again, all messages can work out for you. All right, so Taurus, what is in your recent past? What's in the recent past for Taurus? No reversal, less divinely inspired spirit. Thank you so much. Angels and such presence mentioned. Thank you so much. What's in the recent past for Taurus? Taurus, you have a feeling of lack or being rejected. So these two people on the outside of the church there. A lot of feeling sorry for yourself. I'm not going to, I say it straight up. But basically those people could go into the church, or they could treat themselves in a different way in order to bring up their standard. But they're having to go through that kind of dark night of the soul, that rejection phase, and actually feeling sorry for yourself and abandoned, which we all go through. But that's kind of been the vibe going in. Now, a reason for that too is I said that Venus was going into your sign, which is a release, a relief and a release. But before that, you've had 2 years of Uranus going through your, I think it's fourth house, which is home and stuff like that. So you may have had major groundbreaking things, and those things that are foundational to you. Out of the blue, something changes because Uranus is the planet of swift change, kind of like the lightning bolt from Zeus coming in really quick. So you've had that going on. Thankfully, that does end, I believe, 4/26 or something like that of April. So just hold on tight. Usually there's a big kind of test before that happens. So you may be on the tail end of that. But that could have been what was causing the Five of Pentacles there in the recent past. So you just got to kind of the way that you counteract the fives a lot of times is kind of giving it opposite energy. So if you feel lack, give yourself gratitude. Say I've got nothing right now, or things aren't right, but I've got myself, and I've got a chance to actually turn this around, and believe that what goes down must eventually go up. All right, what's present for Taurus? What's going on, Taurus? What's present? Okay, you're making plans. Seven of Swords. So you may be thinking right now, I'm tired of feeling sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I want to get out of this. So normally, if something's not working right, you got to think of something different. And that's what the Seven of Swords does. So if you're thinking that, I need to change things up here, you're right. And so the Seven of Swords is important because it shows us that. So the original stories is, you can see this dude hopping over the fence there with 5 swords, and he's leaving 2 behind. 2 of the swords signify blockage. So basically, he is solving his blockage, which is this army that's about to invade his land, by stealing all their weapons in the middle of the night, because he can't face the army face on. So he thinks of a smarter way, which is stealing all their weapons so they can't win. So it's basically what you're doing in your life right now. You're basically finding another way. And with springtime here, that's a perfect time of the year to do that, because you'll have that springing energy. You may have felt this with the eclipses, that things just don't seem the same. And you're right, because you have to actually evolve through this life. You know, you can't just stay the same. And so you're being pushed, which is hard for a Taurus because you're a fixed sign. You're being pushed in order to do something different. So just go with it and use your brain, which is the swords, and change the way you do things. You'll be much happier. All right, what's in the near future for Taurus? I'm a mumbler too, so sorry. All right, near future, Taurus. All right, so you find a new way, and you get what you want, which is wish granted, which is 9 of Cups. All right, so basically, you'll get what you want if you do it a different way. That's awesome. And also, I do see love here too. I can't really show it because he's got his dogs hanging out there. Some of these cards are a little descriptive, so you have to be careful. But anyway, so you could get what you want in love if you're basically doing it a different way. You're approaching dating and all that stuff. Or it could be anything, but basically change it up a little bit. Stop being so stubborn, Taurus. All right, what's the advice for Taurus? Yeah, get out of your head. So 8 of Swords here. Now, when I see this card as advice or in some sort of positive role, so I may be explaining what I think of the cards too. So if you're a tarot reader, that's awesome, because then you can kind of get someone else's perspective. That's why I watch a lot of videos too. But when I see the 8 of Swords, I think of like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they're all like up on that hill. He's like, "Don't look, Marion," and all the spirits are flying around. Basically, that's this person like tied right there, and they're not looking at all the swords, which are the problems in their life. They're focusing inward on themselves, because as below, so above, which is an esoteric saying, which simply means you create your own reality with your attitude, pretty much. So what this is saying to you is, Taurus, change your attitude. That's why I say it's so direct. You're like, don't talk to me like that. But if you change your attitude and then or the way that you see things, you'll actually get what you want that way. And don't kind of look at the haters, or like people are like, "Oh, what's Taurus doing now? That's so different. Why are they doing it that way?" You basically have to go in and do what you think is right. That's different for yourself. If that makes any sense. I don't know. Half the times it does, half the times it doesn't. All right, so what's the outcome for Taurus? Wow, 6 of Cups. This is really good. So basically, you're either going to give that love to yourself like you never did before because you have a different viewpoint on it, or you're going to find soulmate love, which is in the near future. So if you're dating someone now and it feels right and it feels good, and you feel like a new person, that's great. It's kind of lining up very well for you going in the future. Underneath the deck, I see the Queen of Cups too. So just remember, in any love, whether you're loving yourself or with someone else, I'm getting a lot of love vibes here for this reading. Basically, what you should remember is give the love to yourself first, and then expect it outwardly, or like wait for it to come outwardly. It all starts with changing your opinion of yourself, which is from like a defeatist attitude. So like saying, okay, I got defeated, but that just told me a different way to approach love and what I should get. And when I do that, I get instant kind of gratification, like wish fulfillment. Whether you're dating or like you're getting different vibes from dating. And it may not be walking down the aisle in 6 months, but at the same time, you feel good about yourself and your approach to dating, which is different than you did in the past. Okay? All right, I think I said enough for Taurus. Let's go to Gemini. Gemini. So Gemini, the twins. I have my Mars is in Gemini, so if I'm arguing with you, I'm probably enjoying it. It's classic Gemini. I'm gonna Let's see here. So I got this. This deck is Todd Alcott's sci-fi deck. So I should probably save this for Aquarius, but I'm gonna give it to Gemini. All right, Gemini. First 2 weeks of April. Abouts. I'm not a Time Lord, but that's what I'm saying. I stole that phrase from someone on YouTube, Steve's Tarot. So give props for that. I'm stealing phrases. All right, let's go, Gemini. What's in your recent past? What's in the recent past for Gemini? What's going on? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you're looking for love or how you love, those types of things. But anything, any messages, get. Take what resonates, leave the rest, as they say. Okay, recent past for Gemini. King of Wands. You're doing it your way. That's like my Burger King. He's like very passionate. So I want to do it my way. I'm doing it my way. Okay. All right, King of Wands. That's cool. I mean, you got to do, you know, what you love. So, kind of looking. Oh, cool. I got a bunch of people watching. Nice. Thanks, Dana, for this idea. All right, what is presently for Gemini? And, you know, look in your charts. Get a free chart. You know, find your sun, moon, rising, or Venus, where that sign is. If Gemini is there, then this could be relevant for you in particular. All right, so what's present for King of Wands? Not King of Wands, but Gemini as King of Wands. What's present? Strength. A lot of Leo here. There's a lot of, like, passion. So Gemini, you may feel revved up, and I think that's in the astrology too. So I'm not like a master astrologist. I do like watch the videos and, you know, mostly for myself and my signs, but I do hear about other people sometimes. So I know Gemini is actually, there's a boost coming soon. So that's where maybe the energy that you feel. But the strength is right here. So basically it's, what it's saying is that as you charge forward with your passion, make sure that if you're having any doubts that you're actually, you know, being nice to yourself. Basically, the way that strength is kind of is done well is when it's done in a confident way, where it's not done out of fear, but it's done out of basically loyalty, compassion, those types of things. So, you know, use your energy in a positive way, like that. Use the positive end of the force, I guess. That's cheesy. All right, what's in the near future? Page of Wands. You're exploring. Okay, so in your near future, and this is these cards are pretty cool. So the strength one here, it's got like some like beast, like some space beast coming at you. Who you been hanging out with lately? It's a monster. And then so the Page of Wands is telling you to explore. So basically, don't put up. I'm just getting this vibe right now. I'm going to say it. Don't put up with anybody like trying to hold you back or trying to guilt trip you. Go with your passion. And there may be like a theme we've seen through the signs here. Is like going with your passion and exploring new things with the Page of Wands. And, you know, talk it out. That's what the Page of Wands does. It's like chatting over here. It's going to explore over there. Figure that out. So, you know, don't settle down yet. In whatever you're doing. It's not just love. I mean, if it's career and you're like, I'm happy with my career and stuff like that, then that's cool. But look at your options and also network. You know, it's a good time for networking for you. All right, what's the advice spirit for Gemini? Queen of Swords. So the advice basically is to be protective of yourself. So the sword is the mind, which should protect the heart. So what I'm seeing here is like a lot of passion and stuff, but the Queen of Swords, what's happened to her is she's been burned in the past. So you may have a little PTSD, whether it's spiritual or relationship or career PTSD, and you're kind of like, I want to rev up again, but I'm, you know, scared I'm just going to get knocked down and things like that. So what the Queen of Swords does really well is that normally in the Rider-Smith deck, she's got the sword up, but she's also like beckoning the person closer, saying, you can come close, it's cool, but if you act up, dude, you're done. And what that basically means is a boundary. So what Spirit is saying to you in this position, in this spread, is that don't give any time or attention to things that are negative to you. You know, you got to follow your passion.
It's like a vibe right now with a lot of signs. You like your confidence to change yourself, but to protect yourself too, because you're burned in the past. But now you're like back in it. You got the King of Wands going, so you got that like fire kind of. It's sexual energy, but it's passionate also. So take that momentum and go forward, and don't second guess yourself. Just set up your boundaries and use those as guideposts going forward. And again, if someone violates that boundary, say I don't like that, and if they don't change, then they're gone. Don't sacrifice yourself. My Dr. Phil and my Oprah. Save yourself. What's the outcome of this Gemini group? All right, so Two of Pentacles, not the most exciting card of the deck, but let's see what's around it. It's a portal card. So basically, normally they're juggling, and he's getting to the other side, balancing his life or her life. So that's what it's saying to you right now. It's basically balance your life, and you'll go forward. Take the momentum of your passion and your strength and your compassion for yourself. Ignore people that are negative towards you, and go forward. And when you do that, I do see some love here, which is the Knight of Cups, so there could be some romance on the horizon, which is nice. Ooh, yeah. No, I got the Two of Cups here too, underneath the deck. Wow. So with the King of Wands here, and the strength to kind of like be yourself and explore, and like, be willing to go on some bad dates or good dates or whatever, but just, have fun doing it. If someone does the wrong thing, then push away. You're actually going to be portaling yourself to a love situation. So basically, long story short, get out there. It's good. All right, nice. All right, Gemini. I think I'm pretty good with that. Good read. I like that. All right, so who's after Gemini? It's Cancer. All right, I've got a Cancer moon. So that's the emotional mother wound. All right, we'll use this C deck here. This one I recently got. There's this cool shop in Sharon, Connecticut, or no, it's in Millerton. Go past Sharon to get it, but the bookstore there, Alvin Books, and they got some good decks there. That's all. And I got the this horror deck I'll use later, and that sci-fi one. I also got this one called the Tempest deck, and it's like a piratey kind of thing. So it's good for Cancer. So Cancer is basically emotional water sign. Okay, it's kind of like the psychedelic water sign does a little scurrying here, like a crab, and scurrying there. Got a hard exterior shell, but it's soft and gooey on the inside. Okay. Cancers. So if you have a Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, this is for you. All right, so what's going on with Cancer? And just so you know, Jupiter has gone into your sign. It's actually gone back direct into your sign, meaning if you start getting like gifts and things like that, it's a good time. I don't advise playing the lottery or any of that stuff, but if you do it, you'll probably be more lucky than in the past when Jupiter's in your sign. But you gotta have to, it's not about being good or bad. It's actually following your frequency, right? I always say that during my readings. Like the universe doesn't care about, ethics or morals in that sense, or good and bad, because it needs good people, it needs bad people, but it needs real people. That's what it doesn't like. It doesn't like, the lukewarm. Is that parable? Because we're close to that celebrating. Whoever celebrates Easter and all that stuff. But I think it's a parable where they spits out the lukewarm water. So either you're for something or you're against it, kind of thing. So why am I even saying that? I don't know. I forgot. All right, let's keep going. All right, Cancer, what's going on with you? Oh, I was saying with Jupiter being in your sign, and you want to basically be yourself. The most you can be yourself, then you'll get the biggest gifts. Okay. Sorry, it just pops in and out. I'm like, during these readings, I channel while I'm reading, so, certain words and phrases that come out, and a lot of times I don't even remember the cards afterwards, but that's how it goes. All right, recent past for Cancer. No reversal is divinely inspired, angels, ancestors, guides, and dimensional beings. Thank you so much. 5 cards, past, present, future, advice, and outcome for Cancer. No reversal is divinely inspired. What's in the recent past? Recent past is the Hierophant. All right, start getting your shit together. It looks like... I don't think I can use that language, sorry. So you start getting your stuff together, and that's basically like a life of order. You know, it's Catholic school, basically. The Pope there, but it's actually a transition piece, because what it's saying is it's more that it's when you unite the mind, body, and soul to create like a perfect channel for where spirit can come down into your life. And so in your recent past, you may have found a groove in that sense. You may not have been able to describe it, but that groove is basically aligned with the universe. So that's great. It also probably set up a crossroads in your life where you said, well, you know, because I'm doing better now, I'm looking around at my surroundings, I'm like, do I really want to stay here, or what do I want to do? You know, what's the choice? Because the Hierophant can be at like a crossroads too. You may be looking at clinical institutions. I mean, not to like, not clinical institutions, but any institutions, maybe like college or anything like that. You may look at like mental facilities. Anyway, like institutionalized kind of places like education, stuff like that, which I think is for, this will drive you crazy for sure. And anyway, all right, what's present for, where are we at? Or Cancer. Let's see. Cancer, what's present going on for you? Deep in this one. The Empress. Ooh, you're looking good. The Empress. This is a cool Empress too. She's got like a, her hair turns into octopus. This is the which deck is this? Oh, this is this one. This is the Tempest deck. It's cool. All right, so that's awesome. So basically, and these are two major arcanas, meaning it's fated. It's fated for you now to kind of ascend through making better choices, more organized choices in your life, and to also feel really good and be attractive while doing it. So your energy right now is very attractive. So if you go out there and you put out your vibe, it's going to most likely be very successful. As long as you're true to yourself, it's a good time to be doing that. Page of Swords here. So someone may be looking at you. And Justice too. It's kind of like Justice, because maybe things before that for you was going down, now they're going to go back up. So I've got pure positivity here. All right, what's the near future for Cancer? This looks really good. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, because now things are going really well for you. You're kind of deciding whether you want to stay or go, or you want to, like, you know, you want to keep growing what you're growing, or do you want to go on to different things? And it's kind of a decision time for you. Now, if you're in a relationship, right? Yeah. So there's like, you're putting out like such an awesome vibe. You're like, I deserve more than this. I am like higher than this, whether it's a relationship or not. And you are probably deciding to move forward in a different direction. I mean, I do see like a tower here underneath the deck. So, yeah, get ready, Crabby. You may be moving. Well, not like physically moving, but you may be moving on to like a different relationship or a different job. But it's in a positive way, because you're like, I deserve better than this. I'm putting up with this. All right, so what's the advice? What's the advice? And I hope the audio is good. You know, I guess I'll get feedback after this. Probably should have tested it, but. All right, the advice, Cancer. Eight of Cups. All right, so if I had a couple in front of me right now, I'd feel really uncomfortable. I'd be like, well, who's the one whose like heart is moving on because they're like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. This is really below me. Take it so long. So yeah, there's a change of heart, which is the advice. So basically, it's follow your heart. So if you know if your heart is changing, then you know it's a sign that things either need to change with your heart, or you're going to stack up your cups neatly and go, which is kind of like the ship leaving harbor. It's like, we're done. So, all right. So you got a choice to make. I mean, the good news is that it's because you're feeling so good about yourself. So it's not like you're getting dumped or anything like that. I mean, maybe not, but if you are, then you're going to feel good about it because you probably just didn't want to go through dumping them. And that could be job too. It doesn't have to just be live. Or a family member, whatever it's pertaining to in your life. All right, what is the outcome for Cancer? The Moon, which is a power card for you.
So you're going to feel right at home in the future. It's going to be nice and mysterious for you, Cancer. I see the Ten of Cups lurking in the background. And also you releasing from your mind. So I want to get one more card on this moon. Because the moon sometimes, when I read, and for a lot of readers, says, it's like the tarot saying, it's too good, I'm not going to tell them, because they need to live their life kind of thing. So I'm going to see if I can peek behind the moon for you. But basically, where you feel that it's going, I would follow your intuition, because that's what the moon is. Stop being so pessimistic, too. Don't make shadows into monsters in the light of the moon. So as you're walking your path, basically, trust your feelings going forward. But let's get one more card, because there's a lot good stuff going on with you. Let me figure this out. Nine of Pentacles. So again, if you were a couple in front of me right now, I'd be really uncomfortable, because basically you're going to love your solitude right now. You're going to love basically being in your own kingdom and not have to put up with anybody or any kind of institution's intrusion into your life, because you know that you're doing everything well. You got the Empress here, so basically you're fired up and you're kind of ready to go forward, and Jupiter's right there too. So basically, Jupiter's going to be giving you a lot of gifts. You don't just want to give them away to people that don't deserve it. So, protect your bag right now, but also protect your heart with those boundaries. And that's really good. Nine of Pentacles. And the Three of the Pentacles underneath. So you're actually building a firm foundation for yourself. So that order that you gave yourself with the Hierophant is leading to the Empress. So keep your schedules the way that you're kind of doing that, where you have that alignment where it's mind, body, and soul. Your meditation routines, anything that you're doing. If you're not doing that, then start doing that, because Spirit basically wants to channel right through you and give you a better life. That's awesome. All right, Cancer. That was nice and dramatic. I like that one. All right, let's go to who's after Cancer. It is Leo time. Now, Leo, after Cancer gets Jupiter, you get Jupiter, which is great for me because it's two of my signs in a row. What am I going to use? I'm going to use the Universal Tarot for Leo, which is more traditional, but a little bit more dramatic, which is nice. So anyway, what I was saying is Jupiter basically is going to be transiting through your sign. So all those gifts and those lucky things, and if you are a gambler, you may be more lucky, or just in general in anything in your life, whether it's love or material stuff. Stuff. All right, so Leo, here we go. And again, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Venus is more on the love side, but take it as it resonates. Leave the rest. All right, Leo. Angels, ancestors, guides, and dimensional beings. This reading is for Leo. 5 cards: past, present, future, advice, and outcome. No reversal, smile, inspire. Thanks so much, Spirit. All right, what's in the recent past for Leo? So you do have some family happiness, or there's a good love vibe here. So you may be content right now. If you're not with the family right now, or because there's a family on this card, that's why I keep saying family. You may have found something that gives you great joy. That's kind of your home. So that's great. And if not, then it could be out of its way, because the Spirit wants to give it to you. So start being positive. Start seeing where the bright side of things, and you'll attract more that way. I know it's easier said than done, but it's my job to say it. So, all right, what's present for Leo, the Lion? 9 of Cups. So you go from and I shuffled these cards. So 10 of Cups to the 9 of Cups. So inside your heart right now, Leo, that is the heart. Basically, you should feel good about yourself. If you don't, for any sort of reason, then you should really find out why. You're really self-defeating yourself, because Spirit is going to start giving you the vibe right now that basically what you're doing is effective and it's going to bring you joy. So just keep going. Follow your heart. What's in the near future for Leo? Near future. All right. So what's happening with all this love that you're having in the environment, it's going to put you in a hangman position. It's very like holiday in a way. Because what happens is that when the man hangs, okay, that's when he gets enlightenment. So you're going to see things in a different way. So this love event that's happening inside you. So I also want to explain that one of the reasons why I'm doing this reading too is because I think like 7 planets are going into Aries this month. And if you're feeling weird, or if the stars are affecting you in a weird way, or just things seem dreamlike, it's not that you're losing it. It's actually, these are astrological alignments that haven't happened in over like 250 years, or in the recorded era in some areas. So it's like a reset of the zodiac. So I heard recently they were talking about Generation Alpha is next, and that's A, right? So we go from Z to A. So basically, we are transitioning into a different world, and these planets are aligning to give us a boost to go into that. So we're leaving the age of Pisces behind, which is kind of like the rock star superhero Marvel, I'm going to save the planet thing all by myself kind of era, to basically the community doing that. And so as that changes, we change with it. And you're getting and we're getting that big boost, and you're getting a big boost of love, and it's going to put you in a very introspective mode. We're going to be like, okay, I feel really good now. How do I use this momentum to change my life? And that's what the Hangman does. And this is a major arcana card, meaning you are meant to get to this crossroad and say to yourself, I need to do things differently. Because he hangs upside down and he sees things differently. So you're seeing your life differently. Maybe in a more mature way, or maybe just from a different angle that you haven't seen it before. So go with that. Long story short. This is why my readings are so long. So I can't help it. All right, what's the advice? Advice is the Hierophant. So if you're around for Cancer's reading, they got a Hierophant in a big position too. So again, your advice is basically to start doing things in a ordered fashion, orthodox fashion. So don't create a schedule and kind of try to stick with it in that sense. Feed that love. You can't feel love if you're tired. You can't feel love if you're all exasperated and you have no energy because you're giving and you're not resting. So basically what this card is saying in this position is start to treat your mind, body, and soul in a connected way. Like if my mind is disturbed, or if my body is disturbed, then my soul will be disturbed. If my soul is disturbed. So you want to get into alignment. A lot of good chanting. Indian chanting is great. I always do and I tell my clients too, Om Gom Ganavataya Namah, the Ganesh chant. Any chant, Om Krim Kali Ke Namah. I like Kali too, but basically anything to kind of vibrate you're vibrating the throat chakra in order to create an alignment within you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the cards are saying to you, in order to find that new perspective, you need to settle down in this happiness, and actually don't feel it's going to just rush away, because you systematically got here, and you must follow the system in order to keep it. Okay? Nothing's random. It's all vibe that starts from the inside. All right, what's the outcome for Leo? Get your heart right. The Star. This is really good. So this is hope and this is miracles. And right underneath it is the Sun, which is your card, your power card. And the Page of Cups, which tells me that if you're out there flirting, if you want love and all that in spring, you're going to get good receptions back. So get out there. But follow your heart, but it all starts with your confidence as well inside your heart. As a Leo, confidence is very important. So if you follow that structured environment, it'll give you confidence because you're not thinking about what you need to do next. You just do those things in place and have fun while you do it. So add that flair as you go forward. Okay? Nice. I like this. All right. It's you, Leo. Let's get to Virgo. All right, Virgo. So Virgo has been on the opposite axis. So as I went through that whole Saturn thing, debacle with Neptune, and totally changed my life. I was going to say destroyed my life, but it kind of did. But it metamorphosized it too. The Pisces was going through basically an organization, which is what Virgo does.
And Virgo was going through the opposite, which is like a psychedelic freak out, which I find funny. Because it's funny watching Virgos go through that. But sorry. Anyway, I digress. But basically, so Virgo, that I'm just kind of leading in here, is that all that kind of mutable energy that you have where things just didn't seem right and, it's a psychedelic nightmare and things were floating in space, you don't know who you are, all that stuff is settling down now. And you're going to start to get more leverage again going forward, which is great for you. But just, Joseph Campbell I follow a lot, and he talks about the hero's journey. And realize during the hero's journey, the hero is helped out, but you're probably helped out in certain ways. But then, the hero goes deep into that cave and fights the monster and does all that for the reward of that knowledge that is gained. So if you're watching me right now, you made it out of the cave, which is great. So what did you learn? What was it that you tested yourself? You made it. That's what you need to focus in on this point. Not like, oh my God, it's going to go again. It's going to settle down now. But now it's like you're looking around and, you went on this fantastical voyage of craziness and you're like looking around, you're like, is this the life I want to return to? Or do I want to make moves in order to create a new life? And that's up to you. It's just the vibe I'm getting. Let's go with the cards. Past, present, future, advice, and outcome for Virgo. Angels, ancestors, guides, and dimensional beings. Spirit. What's in the recent past for Virgo? Three of Pentacles. So it's you rebuilding your life at your foundation. Also, kind of learning how to be an expert again at what you're doing in your life. It's shaping your life. I'm like feeling like things of like kind of like creating, like being in the cathedral, which is the original thing of the card, but it's like the master builder within that. So basically you're using this new knowledge that you got to add a new wrinkle to your life that you're building around you. Add a little bit more flair to it. I don't know why I'm thinking flair. But it's kind of like, adding those elements, to show like, you bought the t-shirt, on vacation, and you're bringing it back, those kind of things, those clothes. Present. What's present for Virgo? King of Swords. Yeah, so you're back. Your mind is back. You know the truth. King of Swords comes in and provides that element of mental decisiveness. Okay? Because you're on this crazy voyage now, the limits of yourself, and you're not going to take it from anything around you, because you already tweaked out your mind, in a sense. So the King of Swords comes in and helps to rebuild. It looks like with the Three of Pentacles here, it's like you're rebuilding your mind. Which, anything dealing with the mind and slippage of the mind for a Virgo is very scary. I get it. So you've already done the hard part, and now you're like realigning it. So when you do realign it, add some like color to it. Add a different aspect of it. You're also, I think, in the same boat with Pisces as well, which was the disillusion of confidence. Not being on your game. A lot of the Virgos I've known through my life, they're on their game. And they'll tell you, but this, underneath you're in quicksand for a while there. And you really have to like be very versatile in those things. That time is over and you're able to strengthen your mind again. So be more confident. Don't take any shit. Sorry, language. Virgos barely do. Alright, what's in the near future? Empress. Perfect. So in the near future, and this is major arcana again, so it's your soul right now is saying to you through this card is saying that now that you get your mind together, so I said as below, so above. So as you kind of straighten yourself out emotionally, internally, and the way that you think, the outside of you is now going to start to become more and more beautiful in that sense. I mean, not that you're beautiful anyways, but what I'm saying is you're going to have that like outwardly confidence. And you're also going to attract more too. So whether that's business or romance or any of those things, that confidence that you built within your mind is going to start showing across the room. You're going to walk inside the room and people are going to be like, oh, this person needs business. And they're going to respect that. So use the boundaries that you developed, hopefully. Okay, what's the advice for Virgo?
Oh. All right, so 2 came out. If I guess I'm kind of making up the rules, but this is kind of a rule I've held on to for a while. Which if the card hits the table, then I got to read it, and if it hits the table in a certain way, I'm going to read it that way too. So I've got the 4 of Pentacles reversed, which means that you're breaking up the foundation that you currently have in order to kind of, I think, fortify it. But you're going to fortify it by exploring into different worlds. So you're cutting your chains that you felt obligated to. And you're going to start to explore and kind of pick up new things, because it looks like through that change that I described, that like of your mind, and the reason why I came up with that story is because a lot of you probably went through that, where you basically had to find that new perspective. And now that you have that new perspective, you kind of want to take it on the road. And that's a good idea, I think. But let's see what the outcome is. That's what Spirit's saying to do. See how you go, what you're leaning towards. But you got the Emperor's vibe anyways, which is awesome. So, I mean, anything you do, walk in that room with confidence. If you're going for an interview, expect it. You may not get the success because rejection is protection in a way, but go out there. If you want to flirt with somebody and stuff like that, you've got the green light. You'll more likely be successful than unsuccessful is what I'm trying to say. All right, outcome for Virgo. 5 of Pentacles. So this is what you got to watch out for. You're going to resist change. That's why the Death card's underneath here. Yeah. So this is going to be your challenge. Just because you're out of the woods doesn't mean that the trial's over yet. Basically, what this is saying is that your major obstacle at this point is trusting your new perspective. And you're going to feel like, woe is me, I don't deserve this, or this isn't, I deserve to be in this church. But actually what the 5 of Pentacles says is that you should be grateful and be humble and actually go forward in a confident way by changing yourself. You can't read from a script anymore. The movie's changed. And you're going to feel yourself. You're going to feel yourself talking about the past and all this stuff, and it's going to be like, that's not even me. And so if you don't have that confidence and that ability to change, you're going to feel left out because you're not moving into the group that truly appreciates you. I'm going to get another card on that. Basically, long story short is go with your spirit. Follow your spirit and trust that if you take one step, Spirit's going to match it. And that you've gone through hell already, and you've developed the brain strength, or the strength to persevere through BS. Why not take any road you want? Some of the less traveled ones are the most exciting. All right, give me one more card for Virgo. Queen of Pentacles. A very Virgo card. So, basically what this is saying is trust yourself. Trust the ways that you do things and the way that you're setting things up going forward. Follow your routine in the sense of what got you through the maze, and keep going. Keep pushing. Don't go all of a sudden back to where you were before all the craziness started. That's not what you're meant to do. Okay. All right, but just to recap, you got some really good energy here with the Empress, and you successfully got through the craziness. Okay, so go out and explore. Have fun with it. Stop feeling so, down. I know it's cloudy outside, but it doesn't have to be cloudy inside, if you know what I mean. All right. Because you're looking good, and everything's going to be going well. All right, so what do we got here? We got Virgo, and then we go to Libra. All right, Libra. Libra, I'm going to use for you the Hermetic deck, which is black and white. It's really cool, though. It's got an emphasis on astrology too, which is nice. I'll take coffee. This is going pretty quick. Normally my reads last a long time. I like to give everybody their worth. That they pay. But again, if you join the Mad Hermit Tarot, it's my Facebook tarot page. I will give you a free video reading. Just for you, so we can kind of go into these things. So if you join the page, or if you get a friend to join, they get a free one. And if you get a friend to join, you say, hey, I got my friend to join, I'll give you another free one. So, because I'm all about the reads. And again, last advertisement before I keep going is this Saturday we have a event at the Danbury the hockey rink, the Axe Lounge that's inside of it. So I'm going to be posting that on my Mad Hermit Tarot page, so check that out. And then Sunday I'll be at the Ruby Tree too, so which is in Woodbury. So that's awesome. Love the Ruby Tree. All right, so recent past for Libra. Let's find out Libra. It's in your recent past. Thank you, Spirit, Angels, Ancestors, guides, dimensional beings, screens for Libra. No reversal, violence, inspired. Recent past. Cards are getting a little bit wonky here. You may be finding yourself kind of unstable. A lot of us are coming out of this winter, so you're not alone. But that new energy is here, so it's time to kind of like, pick yourself up. Recent past for Libra. Oh, that's the wrong way. Recent past. Four Cups. Ooh, disappointment for you. So if you felt like what brought you joy in the past has been, is disappointing now. So we're noticing like a theme too. So we're on Libra, and I'm doing this for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. But I'm noticing a theme right now where a lot of people are finding their past lives in this new world that's dawning just doesn't jive, and it's not supposed to. So we're gonna have to like create things that are more community based. It's not about going out and watching someone else perform. What about you? What are you gonna do? Get in a drum circle. It's not about going to the big concert anymore. Going out and seeing Taylor Swift, or what's the big rock bands too, or Stevie Nicks, or what are those like big like iconic people that are still out there. And the whole dead scene is different now anyways. But anyway, I digress. Basically, it's like you being the star. So your disappointment could be because of that. So basically, Libra, start to interject yourself again. What's present? Knight of Swords. All right, so just a warning that, because you're disappointed, you may be feeling more and more frustrated, with a quick tongue. Knight of Swords. You maybe just want to go out and battle stuff, and kind of like get in there and I see the Queen of Swords under here too. Oh, you're pissed. Okay. All right, it's okay to be upset, Libra. It's all right. It's okay. Four of Cups into the Knight of Swords just basically says, you're disappointed. You're trying to bake a cake here. You got all the elements. You just can't put it together, and it's frustrating you. Let's see if that changes. What's in the near future? Nine of Pentacles. You're going to be fine. Okay, so what's going to overcome you is you're going to have that. And it's probably my recent experience too, where basically you're being course corrected because it wasn't good for you anyways, is what I'm trying to say. So when the Knight of Swords comes as the course correction to the Four of Cups, which means you're frustrated with what your situation was anyways. Okay? And you kind of, even if you're having an argument with your loved one, you really don't want to be with them. That's why the Knight of Swords is there. You want to basically kind of, and the Knight of Pentacles right after, which is kind of being on your own and kind of being independent and, not having to rely on anybody else. You're actually giving to other people, as opposed to relying on people. So I'm seeing that vibe for you. So if that's your vibe, Libra, this reading's for you. If it's not, it's cool. There's many different Libras out there in different stages and stuff like that. But I'm seeing someone that's not happy with the situation and kind of verbally is kind of pushing it to where they could be more single or maybe finding something else. What's the advice for Libra? Seven of Swords. Find a new way. If it's not working, with the old classic definition of insanity, but if it's not working, basically find a different way. We talked about the Seven of Swords in the past, but basically it's someone that can't conquer something directly, so it basically steals the swords in the middle of the night so that warring regime can't fight them head on because they can't face them head on. So they do something quick-minded and very clever,
and they get on with their life. This also says the Seven of Swords, Lord of unstable efforts. So basically, you're doing something, and it's futile. It's futile to resist. I don't know. I keep quoting sci-fi. I'm sorry. But basically, it's saying to you right now is, stop doing what you've been doing. Do something a little bit more clever. Change your direction. Okay? Because you want to do it anyways. It's just frustrating you. And then, it's coming out of your mouth. And, you definitely, want something a little bit more independent. So make moves to do that. But do it in the middle of the night. Don't do it up front. Because you're going to get a war. And you don't really need that. Make your moves. Moves in silence. Seven of Swords, moving in silence. Outcome for you. Queen of Pentacles. Good. So if you move in silence, you kind of look at what pisses you off, basically. And take that energy. Instead of acting upon it, reserve yourself. Find a way around it to get around the energy. You don't need to engage in negative energy because it's just going to get on you, right? So when it gets on you, you lost anyways. Because even if you're trying to resolve through a fight, you're still wrecking your frequency. So what this is advising you is to keep your frequency by going around something in a clever way. Okay? And when you do that, you're going to be very efficient. And with the Queen of Pentacles, especially in the springtime, you're going to bring a lot of abundance to yourself. Okay? And you're going to get control again. This is the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. Okay? All right, I hope that made sense for you. It's kind of a lot going on. It's an action situation where you're kind of, feeling pissed off. You want to jump out there, but the cards are saying, step back. They're not even worth it. Go around it and keep your independence. Your energy. All right, let's keep going. So after Libra, we are at Scorpio. Scorpio. I've got a Scorpio North Node. I've had the pleasure to know many Scorpios as well. It's always interesting. All right, so for Scorpio, I'm going to use the horror deck. It's fall time for Scorpio. Situations can turn into horror scenes, especially if you don't treat a Scorpio right. They seem to sting in a horrific way. Leaves a mark. But anyway, not me, it's about you. Alright, so Scorpio. And Scorpio, you actually, from what I see in the astrology, I'm kind of just passing it on secondhand, but things are getting better. You may feel more confident in your jobs going forward and the strength of your relationships, which is great. Alright, Scorpio. What's in your recent past? Angels, ancestor, guides, and dimensional beings reading is for Scorpio. Only the best for Scorpio and being involved. Past, present, future, advice and outcome, no reversible surrounding spider. What's going on with Scorpio? What's in the recent past for Scorpio Spirit? Thank you so much. Scorpio skulls. So Scorpio is major transformation. So I'm being guided to say that. So you're transforming. And we all just went through the year of the snake, and now we're going into the year of the fire horse. So things are going to pick up steam for you and everybody else. So get ready. So show those planets in Aries too. Recent past for Scorpio. Three of Swords. You took it in the heart. Sorry. We all can laugh at it. Gallows humor in a way. But yeah, so the pain is in your heart. Okay, and that's in the recent past. Hopefully you've recovered from it. It looks like you fought your way out though. And that person got some of it too. For that job too, which is great. Scorpios, that's what you do. You take a piece of somebody with you if you're going down. I'm going to start getting the vibe of Scorpio too, so if I start talking like a gangster or something like that, that's probably why. Alright, what's present for Scorpio? Nine of Wands. So yeah, the wounded warrior. You really have been through it. Wow. Alright, you're still standing, which is good. But yeah, you took it hard. The swords are still in your heart, so you're going to have to get rid of those. The way that you do that, of course, is forgiveness, right? So we have to realize that any negative energy we bring towards us is basically we're kind of drawing it in order for us to kind of like flush it out. So it's a way of kind of like cauterizing that wound. It's like bringing it so we can understand it And then when we understand why we did that to ourselves, because in this whole matrix situation, we're calling in things that basically what we need to work on. And we're constantly making contracts with people. And those people become our biggest teachers, right? So I also say a lot too is that any energy is exquisite, right? So even pain, when we come down to this 3D existence, we're coming down here to actually feel. So embrace that pain. I know that sounds terrible, especially when it hurts a lot. But basically embrace that pain because it's teaching you something you didn't know before. Because you just put your hand right on the stove. Now, you can put your hand on the stove as many times. Look like you did 3 times here. It doesn't look good. But it's teaching you something to change in a certain way. And you're going to take that knowledge going forward. And you're actually going to get higher because you're treating things in a different way. And so you're going to get different results. Okay? But you've definitely been through it. So long story short, learn from your pain. It's your best teacher. And thank that person that actually gave you the pain because they were the best teacher to you. You know, they may not know it. I mean, I'm not saying they had knowledge of them. You know, they're causing you pain because it's for your own good. I'm not saying that. They could just be a terrible person. You know, but at the same time, their role was to be that terrible person because for some reason you didn't see them coming. Now you're going to see them coming. And so when you get to a certain positivity, that person's not going to knock you off again. Okay, because you could see it. You're like, oh, you're pulling the same garbage that the last person did, you know? And you're going to make a course correction earlier so you don't get your heart out there, okay? Before they put swords through it. All right, what's in the near future? All right, so we've got through the war. We're still standing. We're a little bloody, but we're still standing. What's in the near future for Scorpio? Look at you. Just like every Scorpio likes to dance with death there. So she's got a skull there. It's Page of Pentacles, which means that you're gonna get like high honors for you're like a student passing a test of pain. Okay, so pass the test of pain. Okay, but that's gonna be a reward too. So in the near future, you're gonna be rewarded. Now you're not gonna get a check in the mail or anything for someone breaking your heart, but you're actually gonna see the benefits of you making different decisions, so you don't put that person in front of your face. All right, what's the advice for Scorpio? 4 of Pentacles. So what this is saying basically is collect your feelings and hold them to yourself. Rebuild your foundation. You don't need to go out and, say your story all over the place for, to get some sort of Scorpios don't do that anyways. They don't need that type of sympathy. But what this is saying is basically rebuild your foundation from the inside. What I'm thinking when I see this card, and a lot of reading any tarot or anything is through intuition. What I feel right now for this card is basically you gathering your stuff back together and you rebuilding that wall around you, that protective wall, so that you could feel confident going into another situation, or at least entertaining a new situation. Because that's eventually what you have to do. You have to get back out there, whether it's a job or relationship or whatnot. You're going to have to rebuild, because what happens is this much pain. There's 3 of swords right here to the 9 of wands. Excuse me. That much pain shows to me like there's a crack in your heart. And the reason why something cracks like that, the reason why we get like a narcissist in our life, we use those buzz terms, like narcissist or, terrible person or whatever, someone that used you or any of those things. The reason why we get that is because we were vulnerable in that sense. We were looking for that. We were looking from them what we should be giving ourselves. And so this pain is basically teaching you that lesson, cracking open your heart so it can grow. So the pain is actually you growing. And that's what you need to do, is have the perspective to be rewarded with that wisdom that you get from this pain. Rebuild yourself with the 4 of Pentacles. And then what happens after that, Spirit, for Scorpio? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much. What's the outcome? The Emperor. With the Chariot underneath it, so you may be moving out somewhere. And maybe, for a select few. But there's also the 8 of Pentacles here. So this could be dealing with work in particular, but you rebuilding yourself after this pain is going to make you a stronger individual. And the Emperor basically doesn't take anything. Now, the Emperor card is also for April, for Aries. So this empowerment that you feel at the beginning of this month is because you earned it. So just realize that through this pain that you experienced, you earned a different level of living in awareness to protect yourself going forward. You're going to be confident going forward. So don't let that spook you. All right, cool. All right, that's Scorpio. And those messages resonated a little bit. All right, so after Scorpio, there is Sagittarius. I'm going to use the Tarot of Mystical Moments. And it's dark outside. Wow. Probably been doing this for a while. I don't know. There's some people there, so that's awesome. Cool. I can't really see anything, but thanks for joining if you've joined. And just to reiterate, if you join the Mad Hermit Tarot page on Facebook and message me, you get a free reading. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't bill for questions on readings and all that good stuff. So I'm very, very user friendly. All right, so what are we talking about here? Sagittarius. The most philosophical of all the signs. I know you guys saw that, or heard that. Was it Doors? Was that Doors? It's when he's doing his poetry, and he says, he's saying to the crowd, and he's like, I'm a Sagittarius, the most philosophical of all the signs. So Jim Morrison is like your archetype for me, I guess, right now. I've known some Sagittarius too. Very Jim Morrison, it's cool. All right, so what Sagittarius is too, though, they are philosophical, and basically you've had your faith tested as a mutable sign as well through these last few years. You've had it tested, and now you're kind of being reborn into this world. So take that momentum going forward into this month in particular. As Aries claims, I think, up to 7 planets. It's pretty substantial. New beginnings, revolution, all that stuff. Have a revolution inside yourself. Don't just worry what's going on in the outside world. It's just a reflection of what's happening inside of all of us, believe it or not. It's pretty crazy. All right, what's in the recent past for Sagittarius? Angels, ancestors, guys, dimension, past, present, future, advice, macro, no reversals, no inspired. Thank you so much, Spirit. No recent past for Sagittarius. Page of Pentacles. So you did earn something in the past. So if you felt accomplished, or if you felt, you're feeling like more studious, or you're feeling that, you've got some groove in educating yourself, and you're not wrong. That's how Spirit wants you to go. Beginner's mind. Okay, think of it that way. You're going to be experimenting, moving forward. Maybe it's a new life for you. What's in the present for Sagittarius? I keep wanting to say Scorpio, so if there's a Scorpio in your life, watch out. Could be good. It's not all bad. Present for Sagittarius. 7 of Wands. You're setting up your boundaries. So this could have been the lesson you had to learn in the past, which is basically learning how to educate people on how to treat you. Okay, so it's going to be very important, especially for Sagittarius, because you like to, go all over the place, and and people may think that you are transient in that sense, but you have a certain way of wanting to be treated, and just because you are an adventurer and an explorer, and you're away for a while and you come back, people still have to know how to treat you, and they still have to respect you in a certain way, or they have to give you the distance that you need or the space that you need. So you need to basically establish that boundary and say, listen, I like to have space. I like to go out by myself. I like to do those things. I don't need someone that's clingy or a work situation that doesn't trust my work, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's saying that you learn the value of that, and you're actually exhibiting it right now, so you're doing a good job. So that's great. All right, what's in the near future? What do they have to deal with? All right, 5 of Pentacles. I'm getting this a lot too. So we get a hard charge forward. There's a lot of people that may have not have done all the work during all these crisis situations, and now, because we're charging forward in a new world, you feel very kind of insecure. And that's okay. That's actually, like I say, it doesn't have to be anxiety. It could just be nervous energy, right? It's your perspective on it. Be excited about it. The world is supposed to change. We're not here to have everything be the same. Even if the 90s were cool, we couldn't stay there. I may still dress like it, but you can't really stay there. You have to get into the 2000s. You have to get past into the new realm and all that stuff. So your frequency is currently expanding. You have to go with it and stop reminiscing on the past. I feel so. I mean, I'm not trying to preach here, but I'm saying you can't move forward if your mind's in the past. That's all I'm saying. I'm very passionate about that because I'm always trying to, make sure I'm evolving. All right, what is the advice for Sagittarius? 6 of Cups. So what this tells me is that the 6 of Cups is actually a reminiscing card. And it's actually looking at things very lovingly. So when I see your future with the 5 of Pentacles, which is lack, and your advice being the 6 of Cups, it's saying to me that there's some sort of romantic fantasy in the past that you didn't have fulfilled. I'm just telling you, I mean, this is what I'm channeling here above the cards and not just reading it directly, is I'm saying that it was never fulfilled because that's not how you were meant to be treated. That's why. It ended because, whether it's a person, place, or thing, it ended because you were being taken advantage of in some sort of way. Or you weren't giving yourself the strength that you needed to do. So what this is saying, in the 6 of Cups, it says, it has actually a person normally that's an older person giving a cup to a younger person. What that means is basically getting a gift. It's something in the past, like sweet, innocent love kind of situation. So what I'm seeing with this is that you're confusing innocent love or things of the past with it actually being, you're over-romanticizing something. And that's what's causing you lack in your present condition. You're like, oh, it was so great in the past. Oh my God. When I was young and I did all these things and it felt so good. Did it really? That may have been on a great day, but there are also days when you're wishing for the future, and the future's here. So expand with it. Change your perspective. Start looking forward instead of the past, and then you'll move forward. You can't move forward if you're looking at the past. You're going to hit a rock, and you're just going to fall down. That's what this is saying. You earned to look into the future. You've done all the work. What's in the near future what's the outcome for Sagittarius? 10 of Pentacles. But underneath this is 3 of Swords and Justice. So the pain that you're feeling that's bringing up the 5 of Pentacles, which is lack, and that's preventing you from kind of moving on. This pain of the 3 of Swords, you can see that person, they got like arrows right in their heart. This is justice. And I'm not saying it's justice for you to be hurt, but I kind of am. Because what's happening is that the behavior that you had brought the hurt. So you can't blame other people because what they were doing is mirroring. Because anybody can come up to you and use you or, work life or any of those things. But if you have the boundaries, which is the 7 of Wands here, which you've developed and you're present, if the new you went to the past, it would have been a totally different timeline. And that's what's happening now. Is you're moving into a new timeline because you have a more respect for yourself. So keep moving in that direction. Don't take your superpowers to the past, because then what are you going to do? I mean, those people have probably changed anyways. So move forward. All right, that's my reading for Sagittarius. Let's go. All right, I think we did all the decks. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we got another one. This one is. Give a shout out to that. That was the Mystical Moments deck I like to use. This one is Under the Oak. And if you're just joining, actually I got my fat fingers in here, but it's got cool visuals on it. If you're just joining, I was doing all these astrological signs. Just a quick kind of first half for April read. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I do read professionally. This is my first video, so thanks for joining. And normally at the Ruby Tree, you can find me there a lot. I'm doing an event at the Axe Lounge inside the hockey rink in Danbury next Saturday. I'll be posting on my page with the Mad Hermit Tarot. If you join that page, you get a free reading. Send it to somebody else, they can get a free reading. I'll do that like video or whatever. I like to give intro reads because a lot of people don't know what tarot is, and every reader has a different style. So if you feel comfortable with the style, then that's great. Like it, and just follow for more. All right, so we did Sagittarius. That means we're on Capricorn, right? I think it's Capricorn. It goes Capricorn, then Aquarius. All right, we're in the last three at least, I think. All right, so Capricorn. I mean, it's so true about the Capricorns and their work ethic and their mind. It's just, it's crazy. It's daunting. As a Pisces, I'm like, oh, it's a lot. But it works for them. I wish I could be so such motivation. All right, recent past for Capricorn. Angels, ancestors, guides, and dimensional beings. Readings for Capricorn. Only best for Capricorn. Everybody involved. 5 cards, past, present, future, advice, and outcome. No reversal. It's divinely inspired. Recent past for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. You got the Page of Pentacles too. So I'm using all these different decks, and basically I'm getting a theme here. And this is kind of going across a lot of different signs, which is basically you've been through the woods, and now you're going to get your treats. You know, now this doesn't have to necessarily be money, you know, or, you know, love. It could be the love you give yourself. It could be the treat of a new perspective. So find something that's new, that's positive for you, that you didn't have before, and saying that you earned that. So you should build off of it. But you know that because you already went through it. Something that probably brought up your boundaries. I'm seeing like a Queen of Swords in the background, which means basically, you know, you've been hurt in the past and you don't want to be hurt like that again. So you got your guard up in a certain way. And that actually is working for you. So good for you. What's in the present for Capricorn? 8 of Cups. So your heart's moving on right now. You may have found after that trial of what you dealt with, now it just doesn't feel the same. And you're kind of stacking your cups up neatly, and you're getting out to the next adventure that brings up your love kind of feelings. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave your partner or your job or any of those things. I mean, you're leaving something, but you're leaving the way that it feels to you. So you can stay in those things. That's fine. But it's got to transform in some sort of way for you to really have your heart in it. I mean, you can go through the motions. But if you want your heart in it, you've got to do it a different way. And some, you know, the knowledge you have makes it so it doesn't make sense. You know, something is just, it's just the fire is gone. If you can't go back to the perspective you had and what it made you feel, so you got to change it up. You know, go somewhere else on a date. You know, do something else with that person, or look at a job in a different way. Look to expand off that job. You know, sometimes our heart's just not in it. It's that our heart needs to expand. So it doesn't mean you have to leave or you have to find someone new, which you may do anyway. But it's saying that either way, it's got to change. That's the predictive card. We'll see. When I see the 8 of Cups, that's what I feel. Something's just after the feeling's gone. With that cheesy song. All right, near future. After the thrill is gone. Temperance. Okay. That's good. You know what? If your heart's not in it and you're walking away from it, it's going to make you start feeling good. And it's actually going to start healing you. A lot of the afflictions we have in our life is because we're putting up with something that we shouldn't. And it's bringing our energy level into like a chaotic state, which is affecting our, is that the cortisol? Is that the new big thing? Or like lower your cortisol and you won't be, you know, you won't get big anymore and all that stuff. Which is true because it sends out that signal to actually store up, you know, like it's going to be a long winter or like I need protection, so I'm like putting it around my body. So if you can lower your cortisol levels by basically disengaging your heart from something that's not serving you anymore, it's going to affect your health in a good way too. So that's where temperance comes in. And it's an angel card too. So basically the Lord is saying, or Lord, whatever you want to call it, Spirit, is saying, all right, they've had enough, and I'm going to send you a little bit of healing power here. So you may start to feel kind of those angel vibes, you know, like presence and stuff like that, where, you know, someone's actually healing you from the other side. That's what I'm getting from this. So good for you. Take that healing and express gratitude so that it can continue. I say a lot too is Spirit's like a vampire, you got to invite him in. So when you get that healing, and don't be humble. You know, I learned that lesson too in manifesting. It's like, oh, this is great. Ask for more.
They'll be like, oh, I barely deserve this. You do. You deserve this and more. Expand your field, your energy field. And then when you expand that, you expand your mind, you expand your heart, then what happens is in the matrix brain and the whole kind of way that we're looking into this world, it expands with it. Okay? It's the old, I'm going to die alone kind of theory. Like, this is never going to get better, and I'm going to end up alone in some street corner somewhere. No, you're not. Because you're not right now. If you keep that energy, you're going to progress forward. You're not just going to all of a sudden fall. There's not falls, there's change in direction. So you may go into like up and down, but it's a spiral going upwards. Okay? You got to keep your cool, or it could knock you all the way down so you can come back up. But if you keep your cool and you go with that energy, then there's nothing to worry about. That's been my experience anyways, for sure. And what I experience and what I see in other people's lives. So I'm just relaying it to you. So maybe you need the confirmation. All right, what's the advice for Capricorn? Capricorns have to be confident too, because you're such an industrious worker, you don't want to be wasting your time. So, you know the answer now. And you're going with your heart in the right way, and Spirit's backing you up and giving you the healing that you deserve. So heal it up, and then get ready to go forward. Don't just sit there in healing mode. All right, what's the advice for Capricorn? 6 Pentacles. So what I'm seeing right now with this card, it's kind of like give and take. So what you do, go towards things that give back to you just as much as you give to it. That doesn't mean, I give you $1 and you have to give me $1 back. What it does is means I give you $1 and the satisfaction that you give me off of that dollar kind of fuels it so that I want to keep going. It doesn't have to be like the same for the same, because the person that or place or thing that you are giving to may give back something else that's still beneficial to you. I don't know why I have to say that, but it means something to you because I'm totally channeling that. But this card is of balancing and of resources, and giving your resources to people that deserve it, basically. Who deserves your money, your time, your emotion? Okay, find that. Okay, I'm still lying. All right, cool. What's the outcome for Capricorn? And then we've got Aquarius and Pisces. Then we're done. Let's see. What's the outcome for Capricorn? Oh, 2 cards. 9 of Wands. You're going to survive here. You're beat up, but you're a warrior, so you're going forward. This Ace of Wands, it fell upside down, but basically what this is saying to me right now is that you're basically muting your passion for some reason. I mean, your heart's leaving, right? You're stuck in a situation, you're starting to hate it, and you're not passionate about it. What this is saying is basically put up your boundaries and go expand. Expand anyways. Ace of Wands reversed, meaning that this card wants to push through, which is a new beginning. Also in the spring. So as the spring starts to evolve, find that energy and go with it to find something new. A new enterprise. A new thing to explore. Capricorns keep their base. A strong foundation. You want to destroy that. But make sure it's something that you love and not that you just feel a slave to. Don't be a slave. A slave to anything. Liberate yourself. I see the 6 of Cups here. Let me get a clarification there. I don't know, maybe you're tied to the past because it meant something so much to you in the past and you don't want to move away from that. But the only constant in life is change. And the reason why my practice is moving forward and I'm being more is because for some reason, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, is putting me in this direction where I need to tell people that this world is changing. We could see it, but sometimes we need someone else to say it. And basically, all this is happening for a reason, because not for the end of the world and all that doom, because if it ends, you're not going to know it anyways, who cares? But the thing is that not to be worried about things. Things can change in a positive way, but this world is changing in many different ways too. I'm just going on a side note here. But I just want to say, and this is helping Capricorn or other people, is basically time, space, and
the way that we think of our realities is also changing during this crazy astrological change that's happening. So it's not just you. You know, you may blink and all of a sudden, you know, you were in the kitchen and now you're in the living room. It's like dreamlike. That's because it's what's called the quickening. All of these things are happening and have been historically documented in the past is when there's big changes in like going from like one sign to the other, the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. When those shifts happen, the weather's crazy and time and space start to change. You have those Mandela effects and all those butterfly effects and all these different ways that are kind of like, it's like a malleable universe that's happening right now. So the reason why I'm saying that to you, Capricorn, is that you survived the kind of logic of this change. You know it's here because you can feel it in your heart. Go with it. It's like riding a big wave. You got to go with it because if you let it suck you in, it's going to tumble you down. So stay in front of it. I'm going to get one more card for you because I feel bad you had to listen to my tangent. I used to teach history too, and I used to be able to put anybody to sleep. All right, what's another card for Capricorn? Ow. All right, the Tower. So basically, what this is saying for you, Capricorn, is you're gonna get so frustrated, you're gonna be like, "This sucks," and the universe will be like, "You're right, it does suck," and it's gonna blow it up. So follow your emotions. Now, follow your heart. Protect your heart. This is my advice section of the reading. Is basically drink lots of water. Learn to breathe, okay? Because you're getting pushed emotionally in a direction where like your heart's like dragging you to where it wants to go. And if you stay you stay straight and you're like, no, I'm going to stay in the past, then the lightning bolt comes down and blows up where you are so that you have to move on. All right? So there's a Rolling Stones song, walk before they make you run. So start walking. All right, that's my advice for you. All right, so let's go to Aquarius. Most Aquariuses out there. In Vedic, I'm Aquarian. So it's like, if you're wondering what the difference is between like Vedic and Western, it's kind of like future predicting versus like slow train motion going forward anyways. That's the way I see it anyway. It's like two sides of a coin. So I'm like a Pisces in Western, but I'm a Vedic Aquarian, so I'm like really trapped in my head. But because I'm doing this reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, my Aquarius is in Venus. So that shows the way that I love. So that can be relevant for my love life, this reading right here, which is kind of like a spacey kind of disengaged, you know, not disengaged, but like just spaced out kind of love, I guess. Space age love song. All right. That's me. All right. So let's go to... That's all the decks. We got through all the decks. Let's go back. So I'm going to go back to the OG deck, which is this one. First one, I picked it up in a store, Barnes & Noble in Hamden. I was working in Hamden back in the day. Direct Care Days, Hamden, Connecticut. That's when I started reading, too. And I would read for myself first. And I advise anybody who's doing tarot. I'll give you any tips that you need. If you have any questions, you can message me. I'm not a lawyer. I won't bill you for time, but I'm happy to provide what my perspective is. So I'm humble enough to know that what my way is not suitable for everybody because I developed it myself. But I'll help out. So basically, long story short, here is my original deck that I got handed back in the day, and it means a lot. It's very I would say they're all accurate in their own ways, but this one is special. Anyways, you'll find that the more decks you have, they're like your children, in a way. These are my featured children, and I have the other ones behind there, the ones that the flowers in the attic over there. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and Angels, Ancestors, Guides, Instrumental beings. This reading is for Venus, only the best for Venus, and everybody involved. Past, present, future, advice, and outcome. What is in the recent past for Venus? Oh, I'm sorry, for Aquarius. I'm not saying Venus. Aquarius, you're a fixed sign, so a lot is changing for you too in a good way. But you're having to I know Pluto is going or went through your sign, so you had to basically clear out all your skeletons out and kind of get all the bad stuff out there and work through it. It's
it sounds emotionally draining just talking about it. So you may have been going through that. All right, what's in the recent past for Aquarius? What's in the recent past? Justice. So you're evening out the scales, okay? Your heart is matching your mind. Now, I always say too, remember your mind is basically an AI supercomputer, right? And this is a card of air too. And you're air. So you're dictated a lot by your mind. But that means that your mind is not you, all right? So your thoughts are not you. Your thoughts are presented by the AI supercomputer that's in your brain, and you choose to follow them. But Aquarius is really good at learning the program, like being the programmer, like, in the matrix and kind of like understanding what's going on in the background. So what you did is you've gone deep inside your mind, you've kind of ordered yourself in a very methodical way, which is great. And you found stability and balance in the recent past. That's what's showing me. Or you basically learned the wrongs of your past and you've corrected them, through karma. What's present for Aquarius spirit? 7 of Cups. So you're kind of, what I'm feeling from this too is that you're looking at it in a different way. So you're making the choice going forward, and you're like, do I really want to choose that cup again? The one that had the snake coming out of it, and then there's the jewels, and then there's, it's kind of like emotional confusion, because now you're like entering this world, and it's like the smoke is, and all these choices, and you're kind of like having to pick your way, and you're not sure what to pick. Let's keep going. What's in the near future for Aquarius? Okay, you're going to pick right. So what this says is the 6 of Wands saying it's victory, but follow your passion. Don't pick a cup, basically, because you think, I need to have that car. I deserve that. Do you really want it? I mean, is that the car you want, or you think other people think you should have? Then you could put that to anything. What it's saying is that you need to be the unique person of yourself, and you need to choose with what's in your heart as a unique person. All Aquariuses are very unique. If you don't know, they're the people that wear the bug-eye glasses and will come into a room with the antenna ears, with the alien antenna ears and stuff. I love that stuff. So they're not afraid of being different. So what you need to do is you've evened up with your past. So now you're like a new person going forward. So when karma is basically healed, and this is what justice means, you're like a newborn baby again. So we live and die many times in this life. So you've done that already. So now you're restarting, and you're wondering where to go from this. And what this is saying is that you'll have victory as long as you go with what you like, you're passionate about. Not what you were passionate about yesterday, but what you're passionate about now. Okay? You've got to change it up. You can't be the same rock star. You got to change up your, I always say, like, David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust versus David Bowie Modern Love era. It's totally different. Okay? It's got to change over time. You can play the same songs, but they got to sound just a little differently. Maybe you're entering your 9 Inch Nails David Bowie era. Anyway. Probably like, who are these people? What I'm dating myself or whatever. I don't know. I know that the new Olivia Rodrigo is coming out pretty soon. My daughter let me know about that, so that's kind of cool. So I'm hip. I think. But I don't know what her ear. Well, all right. So it's her. Is it her high school? This is the parent in me doing music I shouldn't, or that drives you crazy. Is it High School Musical, Olivia Rodrigo, or is it the Brutal era, or that what was it? Those songs? Oh my god. Anyway, all right. What's the advice for Aquarius? Following their heart and listening to pop songs. What's the advice? All right, so I got 2 cards here. So there's another rule that pops up that I'm going to explain to you. Basically, when I do the draw and I have cards open on each side, I definitely have to read both. So basically, the advice is that you've taken all the garbage that you need to take, and you don't need to take any more. So if you've seen the same garbage coming at you, cut them off with your sword. That's literally what she's doing. She's got her hand out there. Her head's above the clouds, meaning that she can see everything clearly. You clearly see, because you've been screwed over before, you can see when it's coming. You still welcome them closer, but boom, when they don't turn up right. Because you, like the butterfly that's also on this card, where's the butterfly? I think it's like right in the middle there. You've transformed in a way, So take that new way. Don't pick that cup that burned you in the past. It's also saying here that, the Nine of Wands, that you did get hurt. So you've learned from your pain. So keep going. And don't, set up your boundaries so the same thing doesn't happen to you again. All right, what's the outcome for Aquarius? Hangman. Now, notice the position of this person. And most of the people on this suit, I think you have victory going forward. Like, this horse is moving, right? So he's going forward to the crowd. Notice, too, there's a hater in the background. So you got a hater looking at you, kind of side-eye. Looking at you and like, why do they deserve to, have victory and stuff? So that's cool. I mean, the more people hate you, you're doing something right. You're disrupting in some sort of way, which is great. I love that. It's the Aquarian kind of, so we're going into the age of Aquarius. So you're taking charge now. Your way of thinking is actually what's going to kind of lead us forward, which is in community. Work with a lot of different people, okay? Don't just isolate yourself. You're done doing that. But the Hangman here and your outcome means that now that you're reaching a victory and you're following what passion you're going for, don't just race. You're going to get a lot of energy with this Aries position of 7 planets moving forward very fast. Make sure you kind of hold yourself back a little bit to actually review like the Hangman does. Get that perspective by holding yourself back to see something different, okay, going forward. Follow your intuition. So when the High Priest is in the background, basically it's saying follow your intuition. If it doesn't, so basic terms, don't feel right, it ain't right for you. It could be right for somebody else, but if it doesn't feel right, it's not right for you. And that's what you should learn by this, okay? All right, Aquarius, I think we got it there. So I keep saying long story short. Overall, you're headed towards victory. If you follow your passion, that'll get you through. All right. Don't just choose what you think you deserve, or like what the neighbors are getting and stuff like that. Follow your heart. Make the new trend, because that's your nature. And when you find that perspective, then you'll be able to expand off of that. Okay, not a super shocking reading, but it's a stable reading, so I'll take it. All right, where are we going next? Let's go back to Alice in Wonderland for Pisces, because we did that with Virgo, so we're on opposite spectrums here. So here we are with Pisces, the last of the zodiac. Come from a family of mostly Pisces. My paternal side. I just went through some of the craziest 3 years. Actually it's like 16 though if you count Neptune going into the sign too. So, if Pisces has been acting extra weird for the last decade or so, it's because we had to actually learn boundaries, which for a water sign is very difficult. Okay, which means that basically it's like understanding that if we give our energy and give it, people will just take it, and we won't get it back, and then we'll be depleted and crash out. So there was this giant Pisces crash out, particularly in the last 3 years. So if you had that part, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus in your life, you could probably find it in your North Node too, that would affect you, is basically you had to learn to order your life. It's not just enough that you kind of have this mystical element going through life, is that you actually have to put discipline with it, which is what Saturn is saying. So you had to basically lose a lot of the psychedelic, whether it's like toxic elements, should I say? So if you had toxic elements in your life, whether it was someone else or yourself, you probably had a little bit of both. You basically need to clean up your act and set boundaries for yourself. You can still be mystical and be out there, but you need to have a way of getting back home, is basically what I was saying, so that you can build a foundation going forward. You've been drifting in space in order to create your own foundation. You don't need it from other people.
So, if you learn those life lessons of, going back and healing your inner child and, starting over from scratch, getting rid of the social conditioning and starting over with your own ethics and morals, that you have your frequency, not someone else's, and that you're relying upon that yourself and not just jumping into relationships or things just out of like emotional security. You actually hold your emotional security. Then you know that going forward, things are going to start getting better. All right, long story, full of long stories. All right, and I've been talking for a while now, so I get a little delirious. It's probably good for the Pisces read, though. All right, so recent past. Angels, SS for guys, interdimensional beings, readings for Pisces, only best for Pisces and everybody involved. Thanks so much. No reversalist, divine inspired. Okay, what's in the recent past for Pisces? Nine of Wands. Seen a lot of Nine of Wands. We've all been through some like epic war. So just so you know, I know there's actually a war going on, but that's like the surface level war. There's actually a spiritual war going on too. And I'm not just being mystical. I'm saying what's in front of us. A lot of people don't want to say that or just kind of like putting their head down, think it's going to change in 2 weeks, but it's not. What's happening is a mystical transformation, a spiritual war that's happening right now. War doesn't mean it's like, it's all meant to be. So it's not like, oh my God, we're going to win and we have to win and we have to, reject all this and all that. We really don't even have to fight. What we need to do is actually transform with it. And what that means is actually we're looking at the old world and we're seeing a lot of these things being uncovered, right? The way people do things, whether it's government or medical or any of those types of things. And we're seeing that a lot of it was based upon greed, where it's kind of like if you're, when you find out you're working for the humanities or like, for people in a good state, but then you realize the company you work for is just doing it for the money, and then you realize that that's the world that's all in. It's all about that exchange of money. And even in nonprofits, there are people, scrambling for position and stuff like that. It was a nasty world because that was the world of Pisces. It was kind of like putting it in our face. All this dysregulation or all this like degenerate kind of like, it's the shadow side of Pisces. So we're ending the Piscean era with the shadow end of it. So we're getting all the bad trip stuff, thrown in our face. And that's basically what's happening right now. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the Willy Wonka ride, and we're like kind of, we got to get to the other side right now, but it's been that crazy thing. But we're going to lead to another land. We're not going to go back to where we were. So with Pisces right now in the recent past, in the Nine of Wands, with a lot of people, is that we're kind of like bruised from that. But we should have learned our lesson. Those psychedelic astronauts out there, you learn, how to use your mind in those states where you dissolve your ego and you have to start over again. You've had to dissolve your past ego. Now you pick up a new mask while you're here and you learn a different lesson. It's the same thing with life. Okay, the Five of Cups underneath says in the past you're basically, again, the Five of Cups is that the card where the person's looking at the 3 cups that spilled, like, oh my God, my wine! It's like spilled all over the place. Now he's not upset that the cups got knocked over. He's concentrating, which is the 3 of Cups, which is the good time. It's over. He's not upset about like not losing the wine that spilled all over the ground. He's more upset that he lost his taste for wine. So Pisces, you may be feeling that, where it's not that you're missing the past. Even if you had the past in front of you, if you had that partner or whoever it was, it wouldn't feel the same anyways, because you can't go back. When you grow up, you got to put away your toys, right? It's that kind of vibe that you're having right now. So the battle is over. You're missing the battle in a sense, but it's over. What's in the present for Pisces? The Wheel of Fortune. Awesome. So basically what's happening for Pisces right now is the wheel takes a spin. Okay? So what does that mean? That means fate is intervening. It's a travel card, meaning things are going to push through. So hold tight right now. With this new frequency that you developed, keep yourself standing and looking towards the future, because Spirit is going to actually start giving you like those, look at it, Ace of Cups underneath too. So basically, love could be coming at you when you least expect it. Okay? Kind of like a Jupiter thing in the sense of like giving things out.
that you've earned. Okay, so you don't need to go out and like kind of reach for it. Just kind of set your vibe, like attract. Okay, that's the vibe I'm getting right now. It's attract. Be cool with yourself, and then you'll attract someone else. It's all the law of opposites a lot in this realm. Is when you're cool with yourself, that's when someone walks through the door. When you really want somebody, that's when they leave. You know what I'm saying? So basically, be cool with yourself. Hold yourself. All right, near future. Oh, the Knight of Wands. You're going out there. That's good. Okay, so this is passion, and this is you exploring passion. It's you. They say it's the love for now and not always and forever. It's kind of like for a good time, not a long time kind of situation. But what I'm saying is your passion is you're gonna start exploring your passions. And so when you're doing that, have your boundaries up. Explain to your partner or whoever it is, that you need to explore more. You need to get out there. You need to start to kind of do things you haven't done before. Go to places you haven't been. Don't just play the same story with different people. Right? Yeah, and there's another underneath here is the Ace of Wands. So there could be love and lust coming for you. So what I would just suggest is kind of like have an open mind and just, enjoy yourself. Don't feel guilty for it. Have your boundaries up. Explain yourself. Don't be tricky, Don't be shady. But also explore, Don't let anybody put you in a corner. What's the advice for Pisces? There's newfound passion and the wheel turning in their favor for once. Ace of Cups is the advice right now. So love is on its way. I know you don't see it here because you're wounded from the past, but as you explore out there, you may fall in love. There could be some messages coming in soon too, so hold tight. And what is the outcome for Pisces? What's the outcome? Strength. So again, when you're going forward, be good to yourself and know that the most important thing, so strength is like, see how she's holding the deer here? The deer is like your spirit and your nature in this card. Normally it's a lion where she tames the lion with her compassion and stuff, but you're taming this wild deer and like preventing it from running, not by holding it tight, actually holding it with care and concern. So treat yourself as you're going through here as the most important thing, not your obligation to other people. You need to be selfish right now. It doesn't mean you can't have fun or give people gifts and all that stuff, but you shouldn't be like, oh man, I gotta go do this, or I gotta do this for them, or whatever. I mean, I know we all have responsibilities, but when it comes to our free time, don't give that away without giving to yourself first. That's what this is saying. Underneath the deck here is the King of Pentacles. So this is like you basically creating your new kingdom during this new expansion. We talked about Aries and these planets lining up. They say it hasn't been like this since like 1776. Does that sound familiar? Whether that was real or not, or whatever is real, it's happening again. It's the same kind of alignment. So we're seeing a lot of times basically, the way I feel is basically a lot of what's going on this planet is a metaphor for what is our soul growth. So, if the revolution is happening, it's actually happening within us, and it's actually being shown on the outside. All these things that are being brought up, all these negative things on the outside is actually being brought up in ourselves, and we have to deal with that. Okay? So for you, Pisces, when you've gone through a lot of that already. You've got the spiritual armor through the last 16 years, going through all these crises and changes in your life. Now you have to show other people how it's done. And I'm not saying Pisces is above anybody else, but what I'm saying is that Pisces a lot of times is meant to be like a guide. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we've gone through all of them. So thank you very much for joining. Again, Mad Hermit Tarot. It's on Facebook. Join that if you'd like. You can get a free reading. Just message me. Send it to someone else for a free reading. I do parties. I do work out of the Ruby Tree and Holistic Dragon as well in Watertown. We did a tattoo and tarot. Was it last weekend? I think time and space, just weird. They're great. Beth is awesome over there too. So follow that page too. And the Ruby Tree, and what else am I forgetting here? Oh, so we're doing the event with Dana is throwing that also next weekend at I think it's the Axe Lounge within the Danbury Hockey Rink, and I'm gonna be there with some awesome readers, some of my favorite readers too. Anna's gonna be there, so I'm gonna post that all up. But Anna, Reverend Dorothy, she's awesome, and Twyla is gonna be there too. So if you know any of them, it's gonna be a great event, and I hope to see you. Thank you very much for sticking around. Appreciate it. Bye.